Hi, everybody. I'm Ogden City Mayor Ben Nadolski, and welcome to the Ogden Way podcast, the place where we talk about Ogden stories by telling the stories of Ogden's people. And today we have one of my favorite people, and I say that every time, but genuinely this guy, Todd Brenkman, golf pro, longtime Ogden City resident, longtime Ogden City just advocate and spokesperson, really is one of Ogden's greatest people. You are known and loved by everybody I talk to, Todd.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's an honor to be here because I'm a viewer and I've seen who you've had sit in this chair, and I'm honored.
We were joking before that Todd is the viewer that we've all been hearing about. So thank you.
It's a good podcast.
We try, we tell good stories. We
Absolutely.
No, Todd, you are somebody that you're all Ogden. I mean, everywhere you go, you're talking about Ogden. Even on your time off, you're recreating and repping Ogden.
Absolutely.
Right. How many years have you been working for the city? And
so officially as a full-time employee, 2002 to present, but I started at El Monte as a voluntary cart kid in the early 80s because they didn't have a spot for me, but the pro could tell I really wanted to be one. And so I kind of hung around and did the work of the paid employees. So honestly, I got my start there in about 1983 as a 13-year-old.
Back when kids did that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, the rules are a little different then.
Right. So Todd's our golf pro. You are responsible for teaching and bringing a lot of people into the sport.
Yes.
Right. And so for you, it's been a lifelong thing ever since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Did you get that from your dad? Or?
Absolutely. Interesting story. My parents still to this day don't play the game. They're tremendously hard workers. I played all the sports as a kid. Loved it. A buddy of mine one summer, we were up in Logan and we found a 7-iron in a trash can. And I says, "Hey, do you mind if I take that home with me?" And just out of curiosity, I grew up right down the street from Hillcrest Elementary. And so I went up and had a little makeshift golf course I made up there. When I tell the kids this story today, they just roll their eyes because they can't imagine me popping Campbell's soup cans down through the dirt by home plate, so I had a place to putt. But that was kind of my start in golf. And then once my parents could see I had the interest, they made sure I had the avenue to get to the golf course, and it all just took off from there. The game got its hooks in me.
Gotcha. Got its hooks. When did the city get its hooks in you for paid full-time work?
That was 2002. So the professional that I grew up under, Steve Wathen, he was the head pro there at El Monte from 1981 till about 2002. And so I went to work for him, started my PGA apprenticeship working directly under him as a PGA member. And so I feel like I've actually worked for the city since the mid to late 80s, but officially I became a city employee in the end of 2002.
Okay. So right with the Olympics period.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
A lot has changed since then.
A lot has changed since then.
Well, you've done a lot of really incredible work here. There was a lot of periods where you had to do a lot with very little.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This has been an operation in our city budget and our city operation as a whole that hasn't always penciled, right?
Correct.
So where are we at today compared to then?
Oh, it's like being on a different planet, to be quite honest with you. It's when I took over responsibility for Mount Ogden, we were in the middle of the start of a pretty good little downturn in rounds of golf being played nationwide, and it really peaked in about 2009. So I've really kind of seen both sides of the spectrum. I've seen it at its worst in participation numbers, and this year at its best. And so it's been exciting for me to watch that growth over time, because there was a long period where the city looked at maybe selling that property.
Oh yeah, those were turbulent times.
Those were turbulent times, and you went to work every day and just rolled up your sleeves and worked as hard as you could. With the idea that we knew one day we were going to be in a better financial position, and I'm proud to say that we are there.
Yes, we are. But back then, the whole operation was running in the red.
Yes, correct, for a number of years.
And when we say running in the red, let's talk about the Golf Enterprise Fund for a second.
Yes.
Because there's always a lot of discussion about it, but let's talk about how the Enterprise Fund works within the broader city budget and how it's different from a general fund and
Yeah. So an enterprise fund like the golf fund, our budget is set up based on the revenues, the user fees we collect in green fees, cart fees, all the different revenue sources we have. And we set that budget up relative to that revenue expectation for the year. But obviously, if you own a facility like a golf course, you've got to make improvements. And so over time, there were improvements made that would have a bigger impact on a bottom line where the revenues couldn't cover it. So there were a number of years where we were in a subsidy.
Yep. And I remember when I was on the council, we were looking at the operation, and some of those investments are one time.
Yes.
So that would be like a capital improvement project. Whereas we're looking at ongoing expenses when you look at all of the personal services that are going into it, right? And it's the ongoing expenses that are the hardest.
Yes.
Sometimes because we don't want to have to keep going back to the taxpayers asking for more money.
Correct.
To pay for ongoing expenses. That's just not a very sustainable. So the individual CIP projects, capital improvement projects, were intended to improve the experience and the condition of the course, right?
Yes.
Make it more playable.
Absolutely.
To encourage more rounds of golf that would then help make the operation pencil.
Right.
And then give relief to the taxpayers, right?
Correct.
So the more relief we can give the taxpayers by having a successful operation here on its own, the less we have to go back and take money out of people's pockets and food off people's tables.
Correct.
Right. So that's the bigger picture.
Yes.
For me in particular. So what are some of the improvements that we made to help improve the course and increase participation?
Boy, it's been an exciting run. So, the El Monte Clubhouse is on the National Historical Register. There's one that's only one of 13, and Marion and Oakmont are on that same list. And those names may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but those are two of the premier golf courses in the country where many of golf's greatest championships have been played.
Sure.
And we have a plaque that displays that in the clubhouse. So that project's always been a labor of love to try to invest in that clubhouse. So I kind of started there, some of it with my own resources and my dad and people that were willing to chip in. But we've replaced the irrigation system at El Monte fully. We used to drag, until about 5 years ago, we were still dragging hoses during the wee hours to get water to the golf course. And so that is one of those things. When it's all said and done, getting that done, those big items like that, I'm really proud of being able to do that. We built that beautiful deck out in front of the clubhouse at El Monte where people can enjoy that backdrop. Yeah. There's not another backdrop like that. I mean, when Johnny Miller came and did that clinic for our 75th anniversary, he's played golf all over the world. He says, I've never seen a backdrop like that.
It's true.
So we've done that. And then, we've put a tremendous amount of money into both golf courses recently in some tee box renovation. Obviously, the more rounds you play, we take a few more divots. Tee boxes get beat up. Put a lot of effort into improving the curb appeal around the buildings in general. When you pull into these parking lots now, I'm proud to say these are Ogden City facilities. And there was a time when we were a little bit run down, and maybe we weren't as proud of that, but I sure am now.
And part of that renovation and that curb appeal, so it's kind of like our first impression.
Yes.
Right? We used to do things where, because we have a streets division, right?
Yes.
And streets division goes and does a lot of asphalt, and we've got a lot of equipment and know-how and capability, but it used to be that the golf division had to go completely on its own and find a private contractor that did the same thing, and we would pay private contractor fees instead of just leaning on the resources and the expertise of our own staff. So we're changing that, and it's helping us get better outcomes for you and for everybody else.
Absolutely.
Right?
Better outcomes for our division. And I really enjoy working with our other departments in the city. I mean, I've gotten to really appreciate the level of talent we have in this city. I mean, especially this last winter with the streets division coming in and helping me renovate two of the hardest holes at Mount Ogden. Yep. And it's like I told a couple of those guys, I mean, I've had friends that have worked in the golf course design and construction business. And I told him, I says, you guys would have a bright future doing that the way you know how to shape dirt.
Yeah.
And the job they did on those holes up there on 11 and 17 are just amazing. I know I enjoy playing them, and we're not even fully done. We've still got to get the irrigation through there, and then we'll get good quality turf in there. And those two of those holes that just used to beat me over the head a little bit, now we're at least a little more playable.
So what you just mentioned is significant. We had a pretty mild snowplow year.
Correct.
Right. And so our crews had a little bit of extra time.
Yes.
And when there was an opening or a break, rather than waiting
Yes.
for snow, we put them to work at the golf course.
Yes.
So that was using existing resources and making sure that we have the collaboration that they're maximized.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's the point, is we're not going to just have all this equipment, asphalt, for example, and not use it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
To benefit taxpayers. Like, it saves so much money.
It saves a tremendous amount of money. And from what I've seen, I mean, these men and women that work for us in these areas, from water utility to operations, not only do we have a lot of talented people, but the quality of their work, I would rate it higher than what I've gotten from the private sector when we've had to go outside for those jobs. But we are currently using all of those resources. As soon as the ground firm's up enough, they're going to help me dredge the ponds at El Monte and clean those up and improve the drainage. And so I really appreciate, we couldn't do business without them.
That's awesome. Well, it's all part of a broader effort to make sure that we're being efficient and effective with the resources that the taxpayers give us.
Absolutely.
And but the extra benefit here is that by improving the quality and the condition and the front door for our city, et cetera, we're clearly seeing those investments yield more participation.
Absolutely.
Right?
Rounds are trending up every year. I mean, each month when I look at the numbers, I told Justin, my executive director, I said, sometimes I have to do them 2 or 3 times to make sure I didn't make a mistake, because I keep thinking, how did we grow the business from last year, when last year was the high water mark over the last 20 years? But that is where we're headed right now. It's exciting.
I know. So when you say the last 20 years, that's kind of where our really strong data set is.
Yes.
Right. Before that, there's some anecdotal accounts.
Yes.
Right. But we do know that there was periods of high use.
Absolutely. There were periods of high use back when Mount Ogden would have first been open into the early 90s, because you had roughly 5 fewer 18-hole golf courses in the area. And so the supply and demand was a lot different back then. And then we went into a long period where everybody was struggling a little bit. We'd all get together and figure out, hey, what can we do to attract more people to play? Ever since the COVID boom, it drove people to outdoor activities. Yep. It's just trending up year after year after year.
In my prior career in wildlife, we saw the same thing. COVID hit and most everybody was struggling, but we were selling more hunting and fishing licenses and seeing more participation and more use of our open lands than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost unmanageable. There was so much spike. And then we all wondered what's going to happen to that spike in participation after COVID. And it largely stayed.
Yeah.
Right.
We were all concerned. Those of us who operate golf courses were a little concerned that when the restrictions eased and people started to go back to work, maybe we'd see a little flattening. I haven't seen anything at my place. It just continues to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing, because it means people are getting out, getting active, being involved, connecting with each other, right?
Meaningful connections. I think people are starting to realize all the social benefits of the game of golf and what it provides, and the fitness benefits.
Right. And let's not gloss over that. I do think that there's a tendency for people that don't golf, and not that I golf well, you've seen that, is that
you're one of my improving trending students as well.
Well, when you start that bad, you know what I mean?
It's a hard game for all of us.
To be clear, I suck, but I'm about half as embarrassing as I was. So I remember the first time I asked for your help, you're like, what's your goal? And I'm like, just to be less embarrassed.
I think we all feel that way.
Yeah. But I have enjoyed investing in the game and learning the game. So I really appreciate the help. But it has opened my eyes to the camaraderie. The number one round of the year for me was with my 2 daughters and my wife.
Absolutely.
We were late into the evening, coming in at the end of the round on 9 in Mount Ogden.
Yeah.
And the alpenglow It was the most beautiful moment. I shot my best score, 68 on 9 holes. No, just kidding. I think I shot a 44 that day.
Yeah.
Which sucks for a lot of people, but it was really good.
Good score at Mount Ogden.
My best 9 holes at Mount Ogden. But we were all just like on cloud 9.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's the immeasurable of being outdoors, being active in the outdoors. And it's part of the beauty and the gift of being an outdoor city.
Absolutely. Golf was always my quality time with my family time. You know, working in the golf business, I mean, you work 6 and 7 day weeks and holidays, but that's the one time, you know, when the kids were growing up, and even now, that I look forward to the most is just that quality family experience out there while we're all enjoying a game that kicks the daylights out of us, but we love it.
Right. I don't know why we love it, but you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I've always loved outdoor recreation. My entire life has been built around it. My career was around it. Being out in the woods, hunting, fishing, hiking, you name it. I've spent a lot of time. In fact, the reason we bought our house where we did is because of the trails for
Yes.
all the recreation there. Having a couple playgrounds there at the parks. I mean, it's just a beautiful place. It's a place where Ogden really recreates.
Absolutely.
And I think that we've lost sight of the fact that golf is a form of outdoor recreation for a lot of people in this
For a
town.
lot of people.
A lot more people than you might realize.
Absolutely.
Especially if you don't golf. It's kind of like the airport. The airport's got its own community in and of
Yes.
itself that the entire city just doesn't really know unless you're a
Right.
participant. But it's a really big and broad and expert community that you would be really surprised if you get engaged in the airport.
Absolutely.
This is an even bigger, much bigger community.
Yeah, the golf community is massive. I mean, I was raised by the golf community. I always tell people all the time, I probably learned more growing up from the people I hung around with at the golf course than I did in school, because you really learned how to behave. And if you didn't from a very young age, when I first started, I mean, most of my rounds of golf were played with people my parents or my grandparents' age. And I mean, I've joked with some of these families a little bit when some of my friends have passed along. I says, it never occurred to me when I was in high school, I should probably make a few more friends my own age versus my grandparents' age. That it's such a neat game because I learned so much about the values that are core to being a good citizen.
Right. And it kind of gets back to the etiquette of the game.
Absolutely.
It's a super interesting culture.
Very interesting culture.
There is an expectation of how you behave when you're on that course.
Absolutely.
When you misbehave, people see it. They call you out for it. Some people get pretty nitpicky, I'll admit, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's out there too.
It is.
But roughly speaking, when you're there, you're a part of a community, and there's order to that, and that you're mindful of one another, right?
Yes.
It's pretty fun to be a part of it.
Well, and you grow up at a place like that, and you get to know so many different people from every walk of life in the community, and you get to know a little bit about their families. And I wouldn't trade my career for anything. It's been amazing, and there's a reason why I bought my first home in Ogden. I'm a proud graduate of the Ogden School District. I wanted my kids to go through that same school district. Made sure I bought a home right there in Ogden. I wanted my back door to the trails because I was an avid biker and trail runner.
Mm-hmm.
When I wasn't swinging a golf club. This community just has so much to offer. I'm just very fortunate to spend my career.
I actually found, so in 2020, getting back to COVID, I was coaching Little League football, flag football, teaching them how to do like this breakdown drill on how to tackle and stay in front. And I ruptured my Achilles. Worst injury I've ever had. Which then turned into a blood clot, which then turned into permanent nerve damage, which then turned into a year-long recovery that put me in more pain than I've ever experienced in my life, to where today I've got like a dead leg. It slowed me down big time. Before then, I was trail running all the time. I'd run up to Lookout Point, hit push-ups every time I was there, then make my way all the way to Malin's weekly. I was just all over those trails.
Yes.
And when I had that injury and now I can't, it really set me back in terms of my ability of what I'm able to do. It's been nice having golf as a form of active recreation.
Absolutely.
Because I don't have to have that like power as much, but it's exhausting.
It is.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're tired after a round of golf, and, I can relate with you. I mean, I was an avid diehard trail runner for years. Matter of fact, I had to have a back surgery 3 years ago. I've got a fusion at my SI joint, and when I was going through the process with all the different doctors, obviously I've hit a lot of golf balls in my life, but they thought that the impact from all the running on the trails over the years, jumping rocks and things like that, had really been the responsible party, not anything to do with swinging a golf club.
Gotcha.
But I had to modify my ways, and now I enjoy the hike and the walk more than the run.
I guess we all hit that point.
Yeah, we just hit that point.
I know. I hit mine a little sooner than I thought I would, but it, to go from, like, I raced mountain bikes, I did off-road triathlon, Ironman triathlon, and so I definitely benefited from the trails and the outdoor recreation of this town greatly.
Yes, me too.
And I still do, just not as competitively, maybe you might say, as I used to. And so it's been nice to have a mix of that recreational type, and that's kind of where I was coming from when it come time to talk about how do we manage the use of the golf course and the uses of recreation and trails around it.
Yes.
To me, it's a really challenging thing because I know deep down and personally how valuable the trails are. And I'm finding out just how deep down and valuable the golf course is to so many people. And when I've personally experienced them both, to me, they give me the same benefits. And it just makes me realize it, especially when you see how vibrant and how big the community is at the golf course too.
Yes.
It's all the same. It's outdoor recreation.
It's
active and healthy lifestyles. It's meaningful social connections with each other, which are all pillars within the Ogden Way.
Absolutely.
And those are the things we're trying to promote and create the malware of for everybody, all users, right?
Absolutely.
So how do we manage our trails to have more participation, to have good quality experience, while making sure we're managing our golf course for the same?
For the same.
Right? Is that a fair goal?
Absolutely. It's a great goal.
So I know there was a little bit, some consternation over the summer, spring when we did that, but it was all in a goal to make sure that we're providing access and opportunity for all. For all, right? So let's talk about numbers. We've talked a little bit about numbers in terms of participation, historic trends and rates. We saw a big nationwide dip in the industry as a whole in participation through the 90s, early 2000s, all the way into the 10s, and all the way to 2020 until we get to the pandemic.
Right.
And that was a sudden pivot?
Yes, big time pivot.
Nationwide. Okay.
Yeah, I think all the numbers would be relative regardless of where you go in the country. Everybody saw, initially we saw as much as a 60% spike in rounds played because people were limited in what they could do. And then once they got out there and said, hey, this golf thing is pretty fun, it got its hooks in them, and they've continued to stay in the game, and the game has grown. I mean, I've never seen it's so wonderful, so much family golf. For a long time, I grew up in a landscape at the golf course where it was the guys playing. Yeah. You'd have ladies association day, but it was primarily, a male game, and now it's families and couples are on the rise big time. They've realized it's good quality time. And so this growth trend has been a lot of fun to be a part of. Yeah, it's nice to see that happen. And we're seeing the same kind of growth in our courses. Can you talk a little bit about participation? Yeah. So we had dropped at Mount Ogden during the real lean years, about the time when the economy started to struggle, 2010, 2011. We'd seen rounds of golf played drop to as low as 26,000 9-hole rounds a year. We are now going to eclipse that 54,000 number. So we've doubled it over that time. And obviously the pandemic was a huge part of it. It brought more people to the game, but I would like to think a lot of it has been the significant amount of investment we've made as a city to our property. And we will finish this year. We're back open again today after a little brief pause for snow last week, but I anticipate by the end of December, I'll be showing you roughly 9,000 more rounds of golf played just at Mount Ogden for the calendar year of 2025, and 5,000 more played at El Monte. So 14,000 rounds of growth in comparison to 2024. And 2024 was the high watermark over a 25-year period at El Monte and 20 at Mount Ogden. Nice. So what kind of increase did we see in last year? 2024. 24 over 23 saw about half of that amount.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's continued to trend up. I mean, I never thought I'd see a time when you would fill every tee time at 6:30 in the morning at El Monte when the canyon wind's blowing 25 to 30 miles an hour.
Right.
But we're there on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there's only X amount of start times available in the northern Utah area, and we're not building any more new golf courses up this way. So I look to see it continue to grow, especially at Mount Ogden with some of the things we've done.
Yeah, those are phenomenal reports. Great numbers.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And getting back to the beginning of the podcast, we've talked about rounds played, active recreation, meaningful social connections, right?
Yes.
Active and healthy lifestyles. At some point that translates into revenue too. And now we are in the black in the operation, which means we're not asking taxpayers to help subsidize this anymore.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Which means we can make those investments back into the golf course with the revenues that we're generating, so there'll be a self-fulfilling operation.
Absolutely.
Self-supporting, self-sustaining.
Self-supporting, self-sustaining. And it's always been my philosophy that this was my goal back during the lean years, that once we get to the break-even point, we'd want to create a little bit of a rainy day fund, a little bit of a cash reserve and cash balance for anything that may come up. But the rest of that money would be reinvested back into the infrastructure of the golf courses, because golf is a competitive market right now. And in order to attract people to play your golf course, you've got to constantly be improving it. And some of our competitors have done a tremendous job of that over years. We had a little bit of a lean period where we weren't able to do as much, and now we are investing. I never thought I'd see this day in my career. It's just exciting.
Really?
Yeah, I just never thought I'd get to a point before I was ready to retire that we would be able to tackle irrigation systems and building new cart sheds to store our city assets.
Well,
and
build a new cart shed. I mean, that thing is about to fall over.
It's World War II surplus.
It was literally like
Yep.
tipping over.
Yeah.
Well, it's tipping the other way, away from the wind, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So I just never thought I'd get to that point where I'd see that. And it's a lot of fun to actually manage projects. And we have so many talented people in the city that I lean on to help.
Yeah. Well, they're talented, but they're really passionate too. They care about place. People in this town care about this town.
They do.
So it's more than just investing themselves in the course or in this project. It's about this town.
Yes.
People give a lot.
Absolutely.
We get more out of people here because they care more.
We do.
Right. Well, I one thing I was just thinking about when you talked about irrigation improvements. I mean, imagine how much water we're saving by not dragging hoses around.
Yeah.
And then think about how much staff salary we're saving.
Well, you're relying on the human element too. You're hoping that guy out there sets that water and then watches his time, and there's no guarantees putting around the correct amount of water.
Right.
If
Especially
he doesn't put down enough, it'll show up in the heat of the summer. If he's putting down too much,
they're probably edging on the side of too much, which is just wasteful in water. But then it's also, that adds up in terms of hourly compensation for an employee to go out and move hose and move pipe.
And we got to a point where we couldn't even find people to do it, because being out there in the middle of the night's kind of scary, especially at El Monte when the wind's howling and things like that. But, a lot of times these big ticket items sometimes are a hard sell for golf professionals to take to their municipalities, because they are big ticket. But if you look at the conservation of water is such a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
And the more updates we make to our system, it pays off in the long run, because now everything's on a timer. If a leak popped, it can be immediately sensed and shut down. It's detected and shut down. And Mount Ogden currently right now, as you know, we'll be starting that one this spring with the goal to finish that once we start this spring. But right now, the current technology we have up there, if we break a leak on that hillside, it happens at night, we don't find it until in the morning.
That's all water wasted.
That is a lot of waste. And historically, unfortunately, that's happened quite a bit.
Yeah.
Improving the infrastructure, that won't happen going forward.
That's correct. And then we also, this because you're preparing on your end for all the information I've requested for my budget.
Yes.
Budget retreats and going into my process in the budget, where I'm receiving all the information and asking for projections and different costs and adjustments, et cetera, but also capital requests and so on. These operational efficiencies are part of our considerations now for what we fund and what we don't fund. So I want to know if we invest X dollars into this capital project, how much is that going to save us in efficiency? How many hours saved will that mean? How many man hours times the compensation does that equal to? And then where will we take that time and apply it to? Or what will we do if they have an FTE or a position that's no longer needed because we're automating it?
Yes.
Where do we apply it to for other needs in the city, right?
Absolutely.
Those are now the considerations for our budget moving forward, which you would think that those would always be the thing, but these are some of the, what I call common sense, but they're the more analytical things that we're doing for our budget decisions for what I propose for city council to consider in the future, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've pointed out to Justin Anderson a few times as we've been up overlooking some of our projects is once we replace that system at Mount Ogden, I mean, it's well beyond its useful life. My superintendent and his entire crew now have time during the summer to tackle more projects, because from the second we turn the water on to the second we turn it off, when secondary goes off, my team is a leak crew throughout the summer.
Wow.
Once the infrastructure is replaced, all those talented hands free up to do T-box renovation and continue to haircut that entire property. I've widened it over time. I'm not even close to being done. We got a long ways to go.
Anything you could do to make it a little easier for guys like me would be appreciated.
Me as well.
Well, you keep it in the fairway pretty well. I've golfed with you.
Well, I try.
Yeah. Not all of us are golf pros, But yeah, that's the point, is that it's like every investment is an investment in and of itself. You know what I mean? It's like it catalyzes into more savings.
Absolutely.
Which creates a change in our operation that allows us to achieve more savings and that's how you get kind of a hockey stick of
absolutely
of savings and efficiencies and achievement and results.
Absolutely.
Right? But it's not just the financial piece. That all of that translates back into participation.
Translates back to it because, as that irrigation, and for example, just at Mount Ogden, once we can really control irrigation and put water where we need it and water where we don't, that playing surface is going to change. The fairways will be better. The tees will be better. The greens will be better. The golf course will play differently. And I really look forward to seeing that, because I don't like to play a golf course that's too wet. And the public who come and invest their hard-earned money with us, they don't like to see it if it's too dry. You're always walking that balance when it comes to golf courses and how they should look.
Well, I'm really proud and impressed with the work you've done.
Thank you.
I mean, you've invested your entire life, your whole professional career.
I'm a 24/7 golf
You are.
nerd. I wish I had more hobbies outside of it, but it's a labor of love.
It is. It shows.
Thank you.
It really does. No, thank you. I think that, given the time of year, I mean, this is where I have spent before, really becoming, I don't know, a golfer. I really stretched to call myself that. But the most time I have ever spent on the golf course was those early years in my kids' lives when they were little duffers. Put them in their snow gear, and there's some of the best snow sledding in the city.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And that's something that we're able to provide now because of the revenues we've generated in this system.
Correct.
So all of the golf fund and the golf resources, using the revenue generated from rounds and participation, are about to now go into the winter season and provide outdoor recreation for the winter season.
Absolutely. Once we get some snow on the ground and I can get, 4 to 6 inches, we'll start packing that base for Nordic skiing. And it's a great workout. I mean, I watch people do that every day up there, and we love providing that service, and it's free of charge. That property is not just golf. During the winter, we've always opened our arms to winter recreation. I mean, it's always been the great sledding hill in Ogden's history, but we've tried to take it one step further and actually groom trails for those Nordic enthusiasts.
Right. So we keep a big cat,
Yeah.
a groomer.
We've got a Polaris and a groomer up there, and my guys have studied the art. Jeff McFarland, the previous superintendent, had a lot of experience as a cross-country skier and spent time studying the art of grooming and passed it along now to Matt Bain, the head superintendent. And we look forward to providing that when conditions permit.
Yeah, I look forward to using it.
Absolutely.
It is a good workout, actually, which again gets back to the outdoor recreation and
Yes.
active and healthy lifestyles and
Yes.
meaningful connections, right?
It's more than just golf.
It's way more than golf. And but providing that service isn't free.
No.
I mean, it's free to use for the public, but there's a cost behind it. I know right now we're rewiring the groomer, right?
Yeah, getting the groomer all ready to go. We got it fired up with the last snowstorm and realized we had a little bit of a wiring issue, so they were up this last week working on it, and we're ready to go once conditions permit.
That's awesome. Well, I think that now that we're at a point where we've got participation rates where we do, and then the back end and revenues, we could start talking about some investments we can make in the winter recreation using some of that fund too.
Absolutely.
Maybe, do you have any ideas on what we could do?
Well, the intent back when we started this was obviously golf was in the spotlight in this community and not in a positive way.
Right.
Mount Ogden for a while, we labored under the idea of, is this thing staying or going? And I'm proud to say that it is staying.
Yep.
And we are in fantastic shape up there. But one thing when we first started it was, hey, we'll provide this service free of charge. Obviously, we had to buy the equipment, but there wasn't much more thought put into it other than just grooming a trail. But with where we're getting now, with the revenue growth of the golf fund, maybe we do look down the road to actually renting some equipment where people could actually try that versus having to go up to the university to get it. You know, one extra place to do to obtain those things if they want to give it a try.
Right. Yeah, it's fun to think about the possibilities. But
Yeah.
we definitely don't want to take our foot off the pedal in terms of investing in the operation,
Yes.
because I think we're finally at a point where we're changing people's minds about the course. I mean, it does have a reputation for being hard,
Yes,
right?
it does, but it's changing.
It is changing.
It's softening big time. I mean, I've fought this reputation my entire career, and that's why we've done so much work with, widening holes. I mean, I ran into one of my old junior golf friends up at Mount Ogden recently. We played a lot of high school golf together, and he played the golf course from day one like I did. And he always likes to joke. He says, these people aren't playing the same golf course you and I grew up on.
Yeah.
He says, a lot of people that may be newer to the Mount Ogden experience don't realize how tight and narrow that was at one time. So it's been fun to try to rid that shadow that's always kind of hung over us a little bit. And the more people play it, they realize this is really one of the only golf courses in Utah where there's only residential kind of on one hole. That's disappearing across our landscape. Mount Ogden,
You're right.
It's you and nature.
It's just the mountain.
And it's unique.
Yeah.
And the views, you can't find them anywhere else. And so it's been fun to watch that reputation get in the rearview mirror. And I believe it is getting in the rearview mirror.
I know. Well, it's got other reputations too.
Yes.
I remember one time I was on, I don't know the whole numbers by heart very well, but I chipped up on the green, which was a rarity in and of itself. And I was so excited. I was like, yes, and I watched a dog run onto the green, and it picked up my ball and ran off. True story.
I'd like to say that's the only time that's happened, but I get those stories.
Right. Everybody that's golfed there has had those experiences.
Yes.
And we made a difficult decision this year to manage access to the course again, like
Correct.
It's always been intended.
Yes.
And that was not very popular for some. And I totally understand why. I mean, the trails are exceedingly valuable around that area.
Absolutely.
But over time, when you're not kind of holding the line, people kind of start making their way in and out.
Yes.
Right. And we just saw over time, it really
got
out of control. You were telling me that we have seen less vandalism this year.
Yes, this is had a meeting with our golf course superintendent the other day, and he came in and gave me some figures that kind of made me take pause for just a second because I couldn't remember a season in the last 20 years that I've been responsible for the operation of Mount Ogden Golf Course that we didn't have significant damage to at least one of our putting greens. I mean, I'm talking holes dug as big around as that table in the green to e-bikes spinning their wheels. This was the first year we haven't experienced that. This is the first year that this is also the first year that we didn't have any flag sticks stolen when we were averaging about 12 per year. That's about $65 roughly a stick.
Yeah, not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world, but it's a hit to your budget. Bunker rakes, we'd lose about 12 of those a year. Those are $150 a rake. Tee markers, I mean, you name it.
How about the bathrooms?
This was a unique year for bathroom maintenance. He reported to me that he thought that the manpower required to clean up had dropped maybe 75%. Unreal. In restroom maintenance and just the vandalism that occurs to the restroom. And so yeah, I've never seen anything like that. And so I do have to attribute a lot of that to the steps we took this year to kind of restrict access. And I believe it really paid off in a significant uptick in the rounds being played based on the feedback from the customer.
So what is that? What is that feedback? 'Cause I get feedback from both sides. And we did a survey asking the public, do you want us to maintain the closure, or do you want us to provide a cut-through access? And sentiments were honestly roughly split, with a little bit more people saying don't provide that cut-through access. But roughly even. So that didn't help me get a good sense for one way or the other. But it just goes to show that there's competing interest in recreation in the same area-ish.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
But it kind of did reinforce what the original architects came up with, was you have a course, it's such a tight mountainous terrain that there's not clear cut-throughs that are spacious.
Correct.
To have a good spacious separation. But there are ways to get through it, but you definitely will interact with each other, which isn't quite the end of the world. But it kind of reinforced the original plan and design from our forefathers.
Correct.
To have a loop called Gibbs Loop that goes around it.
Yes.
Which then that goes away though come this time of year, and everybody can access it.
Everybody can access it. I did get a lot of feedback. One thing I used to run into from time to time when I'd bump into, I take one day off a week to generally go play another facility because I want to see how we match up. That is a big part of my business plan every year. And where I never come up with any good ideas on my own. I just steal them from the industry experts. Yeah. But I would run into a group of guys that maybe I hadn't seen for a while, and I'd say, hey, how come you haven't been up to Mount Ogden? All these great things we're doing. And more often than not, I would get the reply, I'll come back and play when you shut the dog park down.
Ouch.
Ouch. What defense do I have to that? I mean, yes.
That's our industry reputation.
That's an industry reputation we've always fought. And I don't see any of these other golf courses that have trails around them on the exterior. The golf pros have shared a lot of information back to us that people stay on the trail. They don't want to be in harm's way any more than I want to put somebody in harm's way with my own golf shot. And so a lot of these people are starting to come back. I mean, the rounds bear that proof.
The participation rates.
Like I said, almost pushing 9,000 additional rounds. I know for a fact, based on feedback, a lot of people are playing Mount Ogden more frequently because they aren't having to deal with some of those distractions.
Right. It's hard to blame them.
Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to golf is, you always feel like you're on defense when you're playing golf, right? I mean, I never fully feel like I'm in offense. You're always in a little bit of a defensive mode because you never know for sure where your golf ball's going.
You got to be mindful of it, for sure.
But when you're out there on the golf course and you've got non-golf coming through there in many different forms, that's dangerous. That's a distraction.
Right. Well, then the locations of the crossovers were like right where the ball would land for your tee shot.
Yeah, they're in landing zones or right in front of tee areas. You know, just
really dangerous spots.
Very dangerous.
But just to my personal experience, you're sitting in the tee box waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then people are backing up behind you, waiting, and all we're waiting for is this old lady that's finished walking the length of a par 5 hole.
Yes.
And you're like, why am I waiting for someone that didn't pay a fee to be here? You can see the frustration.
That's the frustration I see from the customer all the time.
Right.
The user.
And if there's other places to go, why wouldn't you at that
Correct.
point? And it's one thing to have a reputation for being a hard course, but it's a whole other thing to have a reputation for being the dog park.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with dog parks. We use the brand new dog park pretty close to the other golf
right
course
next to the practice range. Absolutely.
My wife loves that place. Has been bringing our new dog Boomer over.
Oh,
there
it's
constantly.
amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, she raves about it. But that's there, and this is for golf.
Yes.
So it's anyway. I think what we're talking about is not picking one over the other. It's about choosing balance and access and opportunity for all.
Absolutely.
And in my professional experience, I've had 23 years of public lands management before this. If you don't manage use and users and provide for it, you end up with conflict. And that's kind of where we were.
We had conflict.
We had a lot of conflict.
You know, and there was a time when we were doing 27,000 rounds a year where maybe that citizen walking, running, or biking through there wasn't interacting with a golfer because we weren't as busy.
It wasn't as big a deal.
With the participation at the level it is now, it's a completely different story. And one thing I've heard kind of through this process is I've heard a lot of the folks that like to cross through the golf course say, well, I always stop and look and make sure it's clear. And I'm here to tell you, as a player on that golf course, during my from day one, anytime it's happened with me getting ready to hit a shot, they come right out in front, and sometimes it's too late. You're already on the downswing, and
right.
You hope for the best.
I know, which that's just not okay.
No.
But, you know, and I know we're sitting with a golf pro. Obviously, we're talking about golf. It doesn't mean that we're choosing golf over trails, but I bet if we had a trail pro, and we do, you know, with Monte, and
yes,
he would say a lot of the same thing, because that is a lot of the pressure he's under. Is there's more and more use of trails too. The same trend, the same spikes that happened during COVID happened in trails.
I could agree with that. I've never seen so many people on the trails as there were during COVID as a trail user.
Yep, me too. I didn't golf at all then. I was that embarrassing back then. But me and my wife and kids, that was what we did. And I remember we were both working at home. The kids were studying at home. We all took a break at the same time. And where did we go? Trails.
Yes. Every
time. Every day. It was probably some of the healthiest days we had amongst the crisis of health around the world, right?
Yep.
But really what we're dealing with is we are an outdoor recreation town.
Yes.
We value it. We invest in it. Just last night, the city council approved a proposal. I asked for a budget transfer and a budget opening to put an additional $100,000 into trails.
Nice.
And that's in addition to a $30,000 additional that we did during the budget cycle, during a previous budget opening. And so $130,000 total. But what we're doing with that money is we're partnering with the Trails Foundation of Northern Utah, TFNU, formerly Weber Pathways, and with OTN, Ogden Trail Network, to leverage that money with other grants to double it over. And then we'll put twice as much money back into our trails.
Oh, fantastic.
And so we're making investments in golf, but we're also making investments in trails. We're doing the golf thing on our own operation, but we're doing the trails with our partners. And so it's all an effort for everybody to have access to good quality opportunity, right? And it's not picking one over the other. It's not. It's all the above.
It's all the above. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that as a trail user, because it has been a very important part of my life. Matter of fact, to the point, my wife has said we should become trail volunteers when you retire, because you've spent as much time up there as anybody.
True.
And
if your back can handle it by then. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But I can enjoy the walk now. I just can't run. And that feels, it's not quite the same, but it's wonderful to be up there.
I can still ride. I can still run. I just can't run and ride as hard and as fast as I used to.
Well, gotta just do it differently.
I know, but I know intimately where that money needs to go because I see those areas sloughing.
Yes.
There's erosion and cut throughs all over the place. There's things that have needed attention for a long time. So it's exciting to have the council's support last night to
Absolutely.
make that budget move. And now we can start leveraging partnerships for next spring. And so we can spend this next winter season planning projects for the upcoming spring and the trail season through the summer to make all those improvements. And we'll see the same trend, absent the revenue piece, but the participation rate's what we're after.
Absolutely.
We want to give people access, but the more people we give access to them, it can sometimes hit on the experience. So we're trying to balance that same experience with the trails too.
Fantastic. I appreciate all those efforts. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, it is. Well, thanks for all of your effort. Thanks for everything you've invested as a man and as an employee for your whole career and your whole life.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. I mean, I'm just Ogden all the way. I mean, I've never wanted to leave here. I wanted to make sure that I've spent my career here. Got a son now that's working for Ogden City as well, which is a proud moment for Dad. And yeah, we love this community. Your son, Craig, he works in our police department, sent me some crime statistics and analytics last night that were super helpful in the city council meeting as well. Nice. So, yeah, it's a family effort, yes. But Ogden's a family town. Yes, it is. Good town for families. Well, thanks for everything you've done, Todd. We try to wrap up every episode with a call to action. I can't imagine not ending today's episode by challenging the viewers or listeners to get out and recreate at Mount Ogden. Yes. Obviously, we're kind of on the final days of the season, if not the final day, but that doesn't mean you can't find a way. Absolutely. If you want to go out and run in the snow, trail run through the snow and through the trails, cross country ski, walk your dog through the property, go snow sledding, right? Absolutely. Whatever it is, get out there and get active. That's the goal. That's the goal. If we all get out there and we get active, we can be more healthy and be more connected as a community. And the more we can do that together, the even stronger we can become as families and as friends and as a community as a whole, right? Absolutely. I'm just glad to be a part of all of it. There you go. So there's your challenge. Get out there and get in Ogden's trails. Go use Mount Ogden Golf Course. Go use Monte Golf Course, whether it's for golf or for recreation. Those assets and amenities are there for you, and they're not there by accident. They're made to happen by people like Todd Brenkman. Todd, thanks for being here with us today. Thank you. It's a pleasure, man. Thanks for being on our team. I wouldn't want any other golf pro in the world in our city and on my team than you. So. Well, I sure appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, until next time, that's a wrap. This is the Ogden Way podcast, telling the story of Todd Brenkman and the story of Ogden. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And until next time, stay good, stay true, do good things, and do them for the right reasons.